highway.
Too much going on, right?
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call Thursday, April 11th, board meeting to order. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Supervisor Pomba,
Here.
I'm here. Township Manager. Trustee Bowman,
Here.
Sams,
Here.
U4DK,
Here.
pretty good,
Yeah.
and Will Hyde.
Here.
Okay, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will forego reading the Freedom of Information request. They will be included in the packets for future reference. I'll open it up to public comment.
Hi, my name is Kelly Ziegler. I just had a few comments to express again, given the public comment policy is on tonight's agenda for a vote by the board. I shared my thoughts at the March meeting related to the decision to offer board members the privilege to take part when they have an approved absence in meetings and votes remotely using phone or video technology. But while residents who are out of town or unable to attend are not able to provide their public comment in advance of a board vote in a manner that ensures all board members are given the comments for their consideration. Residents can't have comments read aloud by others, either a board member, a township employee, or a fellow resident, nor can they provide a phone or video conference despite the technology being available and leveraged by the township and board on other occasions. I've been privy to the dialogue among the board members at last month's meeting and then the subsequent committee of the whole meeting, and I disagree with the approach that written comments should be provided before a board meeting, so that I think they should be included in the board packet, essentially is what I'm saying, and not available until the meeting is concluded, which is what you're proposing, and the minutes get finalized. So comments can be submitted, but there aren't assurances that they're routed to all board members. I guess the onus really becomes on the resident to be aware that their written comments need to be sent to each individual board member to ensure their comments are considered before a vote. So 2 quick follow-ups. I think the policy should explicitly note written comments provided will be included in the meeting minutes and the time frame for when that's going to happen. The policy that you're voting on this evening merely states that the written comments need to be submitted, and they'll be in the public record, but the timing and placement for that isn't specified. And then lastly, you're voting to approve meeting minutes from March's board meeting. Those minutes are included in the packet for approval, but at the meeting in March, there had been a resident who had submitted comments, wasn't permitted to be read aloud. I would have thought those comments would be included in the minutes tonight for approval. So if they're not going to be provided in that fashion, I guess I just ask, where can residents find those as part of the public record? That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Rhonda Kruckenberg. I'm here to read the letter that was received prior to that last month's meeting. The township manager said he would read it, but the supervisor at the meeting said he should not because the person was not present. So here's the go-around. My name is Nick Barrington. My home of record is Hawthorne Woods.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for just a second? This public comment policy was in place prior, but we altered it. Does it include allowing other people to read other people's messages?
It doesn't specify, but this would be for 3 minutes.
Okay. All right, because right now it says you can't read somebody else's, the current policy that we haven't voted on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I have lived in Ela Township since I was 4, as my parents moved back here after getting out of the military. They have been involved in Ela Township's work for as long as I can remember, and it has been a significant part of my life. Even now, as an active Marine stationed in Arizona, I associate my father with Ela Township. I am grateful to still have the chance to communicate with the board. Identifying myself as a United States Marine is a huge honor and achievement This title was not a walk in the park. However, I am prouder of being my parents' son. They instilled in me ambition to become a Marine, the determination to accomplish my mission. So, imagine my dismay when I learned the Ela Township hired someone who dishonestly claimed to be a Marine. If you ask any Marine, they would express their displeasure at length. I am particularly disappointed in Larry Bowman, the person my father considered a friend. Larry, you shared a lot with my father, from work to personal moments. I am certain my father would be displeased, not only with your treatment of his wife, my mother, but also how you allowed a position he held with such integrity to be held by a fraud. My mother is more than capable of performing the role of township assessor. She possesses not only the drive to serve the community, but also the necessary qualifications. I am confident she would have performed as competently as my father. Ironically, it's not always easy for active duty military to vote in our country. However, I am determined to vote in the upcoming election in March. I will cast my vote not just for my mother, but against those board members who have failed to support her. I want to express my gratitude to the two women on the board who have consistently supported my mother and prioritized the township's residents over themselves in all that they do. Lastly, I would like to thank Ted for safeguarding my right to remain an active community member and voice my opinion publicly while serving our great country. The fact that I had to read this is a disgrace to the supervisor. Who told Ted he was not allowed to read this. This is before your decisions. All letters that were in the township's possession before this meeting were read, but not this one. The supervisor and the men on this board are trying to squelch the voice of the people, the military personnel stationed nationwide, and the people who cannot attend for various reasons. This board does not want transparency and is making it harder and harder to find the truth about what they are doing. What is it that you don't want people to know? We have a right to transparency and accountability. You already have cow meetings that are inconvenient. You're hiding from the public when the meetings are at 8:30 and 10 o'clock. You do not have a video there, and the minutes do not reflect what was discussed. Then the monthly meetings do not discuss what was in the cow meeting and the voting, keeping the people even further in the dark. Then there are the committee meetings. There is an absence of residents on the committees is not just a concern, it's a glaring issue. This way, there is no input from the residents, more isolation. The public comments empower citizens to express their views, hold government accountable, and contribute to the information decision-making. Free speech is my right to say what you do not want to hear, George Orwell. And one last quote, Barack Obama said, "We have to uphold free press and freedom of speech because, in the end, lies and misinformation are no match for the truth." Thank you.
For the record, public comment is supposed to be about subjects, matters on the agenda, and whatever you just read had nothing to do with the agenda. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. And it was by the attorney that suggested that he not read it, because there was nothing in... I know, because I talked to the attorney, and according to the public comment policy, it doesn't say we need to read any public comments that, for people that are not here. We do not have to read it. It does not say that.
I have freedom of speech.
Okay. Next.
My name is Bonnie Barrington. I reside in Hawthorne Woods. I no longer wish to attend these meetings. It is disheartening to witness one
Can you
trustee.
pull the microphone
We
down?
can't
a
hear
little
you.
bit? I'm sorry. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. It is disheartening to witness one trustee displaying rude behavior towards another trustee, with one board member actively working to undermine the township, while two other trustees simply follow along and agree to everything she says. It is a very sad situation. Ela Township has been a home to my family for as long as I can remember. In fact, 3 of my children have known many of you for as long as they knew their father. After 18 years of service, you all knew my husband well. He was a good person, and I am confident that he would have treated your families with respect if the roles were reversed. Supervisor Palmblad, I can all but guarantee that Rich would have never received a letter addressed to the dependents of Gloria Palmblad. Trustee Bowman, I am sure John would have checked in on Carolyn multiple times after your passing, ensuring she had everything she needed. Clerk Prouty, John would have never ignored Don's existence when seeing him around town. Trustee Ufordike, John would have been pleased that he asked you to run with their slate. You have embodied every bit of being a public servant, just as he did. Trustee Wilhoit, although I never personally knew you, John would have been touched by the time you took to get to know me and understand what I could offer to the township. I did not come here today to highlight the wrongs that have occurred, as they are quite evident. My purpose in attending this meeting is to address the township on behalf of my son Nicholas, who has considered Ela Township his home since he was 4 years old. Nicholas, who is currently serving as a United States Marine in Yuma, Arizona, wanted to share his comments during public comment. However, Supervisor Palmblad's action at the last meeting, where she prevented Township Manager Ted from reading public comments, were shocking. It's disheartening that while my son bravely serves our country to protect our First Amendment rights, Supervisor Palmblad disregarded those very rights. Nicholas will be completing his service in the Marine Corps in a year, and I am saddened that he will be returning to a place where instead of a warm welcome, he may encounter individuals who do not appreciate his service and sacrifice. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. Approval of board meeting minutes of March 14th, 2024. Can we have a motion to approve, please?
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Which one was it?
Any questions?
Are we going to include the public comment that
They'll be part of the
it'll be part of it after?
online.
Okay,
Yes, correct.
thank you.
And going forward, going forward, it will be included in the packets. There was a miscommunication.
Not in these packets. No, they will not be going out 48 hours ahead of time. They'll be part of the,
No, from previous months.
oh, into this one. I'm sorry. Okay, misunderstood. Okay. We have a motion. Any changes? Okay, Lucy, we call the roll, please.
Trustee Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Sam,
Yes.
trustee Ufordike,
Yes.
trustee Wilhite,
Yes.
and Supervisor Palmbladt.
Yes. Can we have a motion to accept the committee meeting minutes from the Committee of the Whole on March 27th, the Community Center Committee meeting on March 20th, Communication Committee on March 26th, Highway Committee April 3rd, Park Committee April 4th.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Ufordike,
Yes.
trustee Wilhite,
Yes.
trustee Sam,
Yes.
and Supervisor Palmbladt.
Yes. Next, approval of the board audit from March 1st, 24 through March 31st, 2024. General Town Fund, $165,360.41. General Assistance Fund, $2,380.56. General Road Fund, $27,366.06. Total Permanent Road Fund, $53,243.45. Park Maintenance, $65,824.91. Total Cemetery, $2,613.31. For a total of all funds of $316,788.70. Can we have a motion to approve the audit as read?
So moved. Go ahead.
Who?
Doug or Larry?
And it was Doug? Was second?
I'll
Is that-
second.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
Okay, you got it?
Doug?
Yep.
Oh.
Any questions on the audit moving forward?
Is that, are we encompassing the whole the whole section here?
Mhm.
I'd like to at least make a comment on the other parts of the financials.
Okay, which one? Page?
If we go to the
Revenue expense?
revenue expenditure report,
Okay,
so page,
which page?
They have numbers.
that's
It's
page
at the
one.
very top.
It's going to be the whole section, 1 of 8
Oh.
through
Okay,
the end of it.
okay,
As this is the end of our fiscal year,
yep,
and I paid particular attention to variances, et cetera. And one thing that has stood out in front of me is the job that the treasurer has done in investing our funds.
oh,
I mean,
thank you.
I looked at the scenario, we came in over $200,000 above budget in investment earnings. And I think that's all to the credit of the township treasurer, supervisor, et cetera, and investing our funds and being able to add that surplus to what we did for the fiscal year.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about the audit or comments? Okay. Then we'll move forward with the vote. We have a motion and a second, so will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Sam? Trustee Ufordike?
Guys?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
They both say yes.
yes,
Trustee Sam?
yes.
Supervisor Pombrilla?
Yes. Okay.
missed somebody here. Trustee Wilhite?
Yes.
She got distracted with what's going on down here, sorry.
I have a distraction over here.
Just checking.
Okay, moving forward, monthly updates from elected officials and department heads. I just have a quick comment to make. I was at a chamber function today, chamber luncheon, I should say. It's our regular monthly meeting. And there is discussion about putting 2 referendums at the upcoming November election. One would be for the Lake Zurich, Village of Lake Zurich is considering adding another 50 cents or half a percent, I should say, to the sales tax. They would use that extra money supposedly to offset their costs for the connection to the Lake Zurich Lake Michigan water, excuse me. And Kildare is also considering adding another half a percent in sales taxes. Everybody would end up at 8%, just like Deer Park is right now. And they are saying they're doing that just to keep up with inflation, so to speak. There is proposed legislation in Springfield that Governor Pritzker is considering removing the grocery sales tax, which is like 1.5% that these villages are receiving at the moment, and that would have a great impact to what they receive every year. I'm being told Kildare alone, and they only have Fresh Market, I think, or Whole Foods, and that would affect them like over $400,000 in their annual budget. So again, they feel they need this money to offset all their expenses, but again, we have to hope that Springfield legislative doesn't pass. It could be detrimental to all the villages in the future. They'll have to offset that money some other way. So that's it. And Deer Park recently they had a referendum on the ballot just here in March that was to keep the 8%. So they'd be all the same then, moving forward. So just wanted you to know about that. Next is, I'll go with you guys. Trustee Wilhite, any comments?
I was going to say thank you for managing the money very well. It was a really nice increase. Also, thank you to the department heads. We close out the year at the end of March every year, and you kept within your budgets and provided great services for the residents. So I just wanted to thank the department heads. I also I was scheduled to go to a First Amendment seminar today, and I missed it, but I got the PowerPoint presentation. So it was just interesting, the legalities of people coming in and videotaping you while you're asking for FOIA. So I think, Ted, you went to that too, so just interesting stuff. So that's it.
Okay. Trustee Bowman?
We had our highway commissioner meeting. Minutes from the meeting are in the pack. Good meeting. We discussed basic renewal requirements for equipment coming up in the future, present need for employment and stuff. It was a really good meeting. I just want to make a personal comment. I resent comments made personal relationship with John Barrington. He was a very good friend of mine. We had a great relationship. I had the utmost respect for John for years. And I resent people telling me I don't support what John did in my relationship with him. It's out of line, and it's politically oriented, and I resent it 100%. I had a lot of respect for John. He was a very good friend of mine. I resent it. It's terrible. It's very, very, it's just terrible politics. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Are you looking for a response to that? We're looking at you and we're talking.
Clerk Proudy, any report?
Next.
Yeah, I want to apologize to the board for missing the meetings. I would have rather been here for sure instead of sitting in a hospital room. So I'm sorry, board. I'll try to do better.
You were where you needed to be, don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Trustee Fadike.
Thank you. So we had a great Parks meeting last week. Thank you to Trustee Bowman for leading that. I had a small business meeting that ran over. Also, it was good to go to the annual meeting on Tuesday, and we have our resident that helped take the minutes. So thanks to our resident for helping lead that meeting. It's always good to see the residents involved. Also, Lake Zurich Chamber of Commerce is having a job fair next Thursday at Lake Zurich High School. So if you know anybody that's looking for a job, we're hiring, as well as other small businesses. And I also want to talk about the American Legion in Lake Zurich. Had a chance to just visit them. It's a great organization. We always have to remember to support our veterans. So the American Legion in Lake Zurich. And that's it.
No update till May. As I look at Sarah. No, yeah.
Okay. Director Dillon, would you like to step forward, please?
Okay, a couple things. One, next week, Jim will be actually presenting via the National Council on Aging to, via Zoom to centers across the country. He will be presenting his Road to Happiness class that won the award for innovative program last year at NCOA. And that is something that I will be attending again this May in DC. And everything else is in the report. Other than that, I spoke yesterday with the Hawthorne Woods Senior Group. And it was kind of funny because 90% of the people there were already members.
Yeah.
But there's always a few that we reach that, don't know about us yet. So it was, great to go there and see some new people.
And I heard it was well attended and it was
There's
fun.
lunch.
Yeah,
So
lunch.
what do we think, come on. Tends to be a little food-centric around the
Always
seniors.
full of food.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
two
yeah.
things, I did talk to Brian today, he wanted to give a shout out to you, that said he thought you did a great job. He says you held everybody's attention, so it was engaging, and he thought you were a delight, so I just wanted
That's
to let
because
you
they
know
ate
that.
first.
Oh, they ate first. Okay, they had full stomachs. And how long is Jim on that meeting for,
It's,
is it more
it's
than
a,
one day?
no, it's just
Oh.
it's a half-hour presentation.
okay.
And then the runner-up will present as well. So, there'll be about 80-some-odd centers on the presentation
Awesome.
watching. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Anybody have any questions for, you've got youth yet to report on, right? Or no?
Pardon me?
You have youth to report on, or you're done?
Youth is doing, that everything's in there.
Okay,
There's
good.
nothing that's not in the written report that I
Okay.
need to report on, so.
Okay. Anybody have questions then? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Director Marks?
Good evening. So the main things that I want to highlight is on Wednesday, actually, we gave a presentation to the command staff at the Lake Zurich Fire Department about mental health and fire department, specifically with first responders. And it went so well that they've actually asked us to come back and do it again to some of the other
Did you bring food?
centers. We did not bring food. They actually had food. And then the other thing that we have kind of going on for May 23rd is we are going to host a CEU event through ACOI here, and we are getting Dr. McArdle, who is the Assistant Superintendent at District 95, to do an IEP slash special educational law presentation to all of us, because ACOI works with youth. So it'd be really helpful if we kind of learned a little bit more about that process and how that worked. So those are kind of the two main things that we kind of have brewing right now. Everything else is kind of in there. We're still, the current trends are pretty much like the need for psychiatrists and therapists, housing crisis, and like a lot of language barriers. But other than that, does anybody have any questions?
You said May 23rd?
May 23rd.
Okay.
Should be a Thursday,
Okay,
from 1 to 3. And before that, we have a business meeting.
okay.
So
Have you got any more canes?
we
Oh,
do.
yeah, there's 3 upstairs, I think.
We have some canes. We have
Okay.
some canes, which is good. Our lending closet is exploding, which
It
is
is.
great. So we love when people call us and before they come in. That's really helpful because sometimes we're down on some things. So just calling us is great.
The May 23rd event, I'm sorry, you said the initials, but I don't know what it stands for. What is the May 23rd?
ACOI?
No, not
Oh.
ACOI.
I'll take it
IEP.
anyway, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. It's individual educational plan.
Thank you.
So yeah, and it also kind of, it ties in with like the special education law and just different
So
things
will
like
it be
that.
for just the people here, or will it be for all
For
ACOI?
anybody, it is a CEU event. Anybody can come. You can go to acoi.com and register. We'll put it on the website once I get the flyer created for it. So if anybody's interested, they're more than welcome to come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just didn't understand.
So ACOI is,
ACOI, so it is basically TOI's version of youth.
oh, okay.
Don't ask me what it stands for because I always forget. But it is ACOI, or it's TOI's version of youth.
Okay.
Great group.
So, yeah.
We've been members for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, any other questions for Sarah?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Township manager. I won't forget you this time.
So I'll just touch on a couple of the highlights from my report. First, we have the money for the generator grant, but we just haven't been given the money yet. So we've been awarded, but we don't have the money yet. So that project is still on hold. Mike's not,
And the money was awarded by,
Congressman Quigley's
yes,
office.
so we have to thank him. That was.
Mike's not here, but I want to give a shout out to the highway department for fixing a sewer backup last week. That was terrible. So thank you to them. Our fiscal year 25 budget is, notice has been published in the Daily Herald. There's copies, I believe, on that desk behind you, as well as upstairs for review. And hopefully we should be set to approve that in May. And then I'll have more information on this shortly, but a representative from IMRF will be presenting at the community center on June 17th at noon to speak to our employees and help educate them on all things IMRF.
And just for everybody, could you just say what IMRF stands for?
Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund?
Thank you. Just not everybody knows.
Yeah,
what
for sure,
it
absolutely.
stands for.
That's why I skipped the ILCMA one, because I'm not 100% sure what that one is. I'm just kidding, it's the Illinois City Manager Association.
Is the generator gonna replace our big generator?
It's gonna go to the community center.
No, the community center.
So it has a,
Right.
it's phase one. Yeah.
Nobody tells me these things, I just got to know.
Thank you, Ted.
Anything?
Anyway,
Oh,
okay.
too easy, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to number 10, to approve the Ela Township Public Comment Policy. This is the same policy that was presented at last month's board meeting with no changes. So-
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
So
Discussion?
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say discussion. So, yeah, so first, and again, this is Tasi Ufadike. I want to thank Kelly, the resident. I think her comments really summarized what I was feeling initially. And then when I heard Miss Bonnie Barrington talk about her son serving our great country and not being able to express, his comments, that's the only, if we can make a change to that, I think if you're serving the country that we live in and you want to make a comment, you should be able to. I mean, that's just my opinion. So if we can take a look at that and maybe make some edits to it, I don't think we should go forward until we've actually thoroughly, made some of these edits.
Well, we did discuss it at the committee of the whole meeting, and we all decided that we were gonna move forward with this
Who is
policy.
we all? I'm
Well, the
sorry.
committee of the
Oh,
whole.
the people that were there?
Not
Okay.
everyone, not unanimously.
Pardon?
Not unanimously.
Okay, not unanimously. Okay, go on. What was your comments?
My comments is, I don't understand what the huge need for change on this is, and also, you know, if we're talking about written comment being included, there needs to be deadlines, it needs to be, there's no specificity within what you've written up. There's nothing, you know, it has to be submitted by what date to be included in the packet, included in what date to be included in the meeting minutes. It's just very general. And switching it from the board to the supervisor, I just don't understand what the point of it is.
What changed what to the board of supervisor?
Let me just, there's a state statute for townships where you have a deadline of all information that needs to be submitted. That has never changed. It's been around since SALT.
I haven't been around since SALT, and I'm unaware of it, so I think it should be outlined.
There's a
in there.
guideline on what can be put in the packet and not. There's time guidelines for all of it.
Well, where is that posted on our website? Where is it posted anywhere in Ela
It's-
Township?
It's the 48 hours.
Yeah, that's never changed. I mean,
And
I'm
wait,
surprised
but-
you don't know that. I mean,
Wait.
it's 48 hours of,
I haven't served on the board for over 20 years, but I understand the 48-hour thing. But we just need to be transparent and listed somewhere, you know?
And what, thank you, so, well, for this, again, having policies in place is important. But I guess my thing is, every resident and every taxpayer, right, and I'm sure you, has a voice.
Of course.
We're
We're not saying
elected
they don't.
officials, yes, exactly. So we all agree that. We're all elected officials, appointed, elected. So if, this is just a question.
That's
If a military, somebody serving our country, has a comment and they want to make it and they can't attend, we can't read it out? Or what do
The
you feel
reason
about
we
that?
were discussing
Yes.
not doing that is because if some word or paragraph or sentence, number one, got accidentally left out, it could change the whole context of the message. And we didn't want to have that liability, number one. Number two, we could read it with the wrong type of
Tone.
tone. Yeah, there you go, tone. And so therefore, we decided that we would not, if you can't attend the meeting, we wouldn't read it.
But why aren't we allowing someone else to read it so that we're not responsible for the tone and the message, like Rhonda did tonight? Why
But
are we-
again, it also states in here that whatever is read needs to be regarding the subject matter or the agenda, and that comment had nothing to do with today's agenda.
But he was discussing public comment, and that is on our agenda.
But not the comments that preceded that, were in regards to trustee Bowman, or his military experience, or trustee Bowman's relationship with John Barrington. That had nothing to do with anything that's business, township business.
Okay. And then the other thing, it says the late arrivals are still permitted to speak, but must provide their first name on the record. The last time the attorney said that, that's.
First name, we didn't have to require them to give us their full name and address.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought at the
Or-
last board meeting, she said that that is not required under freedom of press, that they do not have to give their name at
it's
all.
requested.
I was
But it says it's
not-
required
I was
in the new.
required not to give a young lady's last name or her address.
Committee meeting is welcome
So I
and
just
required to
used
Their
sign.
name,
her
they had to
first
give their
name.
name.
Because she
But
asked
it
me
says
that.
must first provide their name for the record.
Well, they're supposed to sign in. They're required to sign in. It didn't say, it says they're required to sign in.
Must first provide their name for the record.
Number one.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
said for
and the
name.
name could be, I'm Doug, right?
Right.
That's all you have to do.
Okay,
I mean,
it's
our
just something we
discussion was-
discussed.
We
Pardon
did.
me?
Yeah,
I
we
just wanted
did.
clarification.
We did.
Lori said what Lori said, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we didn't have to do the
Yeah,
full
she-
name and
yeah,
address.
she said
Because
that.
we asked for
Let me
legal
just
name
ask one
originally.
question. Do you, question, do you honestly believe that this board is rejecting any public comment and their opinions for the better of the township? Do you honestly believe that?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I don't believe this is transparent. I don't think this is in the best
So
interest
you're saying
of the
no
board
to
of the
that
residents.
question? That we, as a board, are not openly receiving comments from the public on what we're doing and how things you honestly believe, yes or no, that we're not doing that?
With this new, right now we are, but with this new policy, I think it's preventing open communication.
I'm sitting here for over a decade, and I can honestly say, I've been here just a little bit of time, being the senior person here, being the old guy here. We have never, ever refused comments and input from the community on what's being done here, ever, ever. We've always been very open to the comments, always, and we've reacted in a positive attitude, taking the politics out of it, openly responded to the requirements of what the community has done. And we've done a good job at it.
Then why are we changing it if it's always been done and it's been done well?
Because it's taken the politics out of, and it's for the better of the community to take the politics and the theatrics out of it and state the facts. If somebody wants to come up here and make their point, they're more than welcome. If they want to write a letter, they want a Freedom of Information Act to request information of what we're doing, it's all very visible.
It just seems very hypocritical that board members are allowed to do this from other locations and the residents are not, and we represent the residents.
But that remote policy is only under certain circumstances.
We should have that certain circumstances for I mean, serving
is.
out of.
I don't think we
mean,
really changed that many things from this old policy to the new policy. Ted, can you help me here or not?
I have the old one right here that we passed last year.
I stand by what I said.
How can I help?
Just-
Once you
well, first of all, we
lose-
took out public comment for 30 minutes, well, and that's just limiting, I guess, but other than that, it's almost exactly the same thing. So, okay, we had discussion. Anybody want to say anything else? Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I think we should take some time. I think we should take some time with all this discussion and input, just to read
This
it
is-
again, and
For what
before we just
purpose?
go, the comments that were made about remote, the comments that were made about it for military, is there a rush?
Well, we
To approve
discussed this,
it?
how many times,
This
we
is
were
the
at the
second or
cow
third time
meeting,
it's
we
been on
had the last meeting, we reached a consensus at the cow meeting, and now, let's start over again. I don't get it, it's a waste of time.
This whole thing is a waste of time. We shouldn't have to change anything if it's been working
Then
well.
why didn't we
and
bring it
right.
up at the cow meeting?
I didn't do the agenda. Why are we having to change it? If it's worked so well for 20 years, why are we changing it?
To your point, why wasn't it brought up before? Now it's being stated.
I brought this all up at the cow meeting.
I wasn't at the comment.
Motion's made, second.
Okay.
Lucy, call the roll, please.
Trustee Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Sam,
Yes.
trustee UFODK,
No.
trustee Willhite,
No.
supervisor Pomblick.
Yes. Okay, next is the spring summer newsletter. In your packets, you have a almost finalized draft. This is for content only. We still have to come up with the cover page, and I do want to read it for the 5th time, so I can make sure there's punctuation, everything is in there. But if I could get a motion to approve it so that it can be ready to go to the printer before the end of the month and in the mailboxes in May.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, Lucy, would call the roll, please.
Trustee UFODK,
Yes.
trustee Willhite,
Yes.
trustee Sam,
Yes.
trustee Bowman,
Yes.
supervisor Pomblick.
Yes. Next is the 2024 Lake Zurich Flames Field Contract. We have a motion to approve this agreement for the 2024 season with a yearly maintenance fee of $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
When you talk to them, I know in our last meeting, just want to make sure I'm clear. So they were okay with the 2,500? They had no problem?
Nope.
Thank
Not a
you.
blink of an eye.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Willhite,
Yes.
trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Ufordike.
Yes.
Trustee Sam.
Yes.
Supervisor Conrad.
Yes. Next is a line item transfer. Can we have a motion to approve the line item transfers as presented for the close of the fiscal year, March 31st, 2024? I hope everybody received the the yellow change form. That's the one we're approving along with page 2 that was in your books.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on that? Everybody understand? Okay. Lucy, we call the roll, please.
Trustee Wilhite.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Supervisor Conrad.
Yes?
Trustee Sam.
Yes.
Trustee Ufordike.
Yes.
Okay, anybody have any reason to go into executive session?
You know, I'd like to say something now. No, I don't want to say it. But I just want to say after 34 years of being in township government, and I really worked for this township, I cannot believe what's going on now. Has anybody ever heard you get more with honey than vinegar? That's all I want to say. Thank you.
And can we have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you. Second.
I didn't get a first.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Trustee's jumping the gun.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Doug second.
Second.
Trustee Ufordike.
Yes,
Trustee
ma'am.
Wilhite.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Sam.
Yes.
Supervisor Conrad.
Yes? Got Larry Bowman.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, motion adjourned, 7:42.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.